whatever you feel comfortable with.
No.
Okay, and then we're gonna start very fast. Jason, if you can move your avatar around a little bit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining this event. Just for someone, if you don't know, my name is AZ. You can also call me Adalia. I'm the founder of DophinArc DAO. We're a Metaverse architect community. We're trying to create Metaverse mansions and architectures that can actualize human imagination in full in the Metaverse. And as you can see, the space is one of the iconic space that we built for our Genesis NFT job, and it's called the Metal Mansion. And from the designers, he actually said the Metal Mansion, because metal in ancient Chinese symbolized strength. Since ancient times, it has promoted and achieved transformation, development of science and technology, society and economy of mankind. So it's perfectly that we're sitting in this ideal place that can break through the natural environments, national boundaries, land restrictions, and even Earth gravity with the metal element. And I'm super happy to have this event with all of you that are making changes in the Metaverse, in the Web3, in the world, and breaking the rules and creating amazing things together. So let's give a clap to everybody here. And then just a little bit story of how I met Nina. I actually met her last year in NFT NYC and with some of our common friends, and we just had a lot of fun and hang out a lot. And it was a great time. And I saw her designs, avatars, and all those art, and I was so amazed at how beautiful and dedicated it is. So I become one of her fans. I'm like, she is one of my favorite female artists in the space. So I'm definitely like a fangirl, and I'm so honored and happy to have her here with us. And I know that you guys have a lot of amazing news to tell our guest. So I'll hand the mic to Nina and the speakers, and please give us a brief introduction of what you're doing, what you're currently working on, and what is the most exciting thing that you feel about the Metaverse.
Thank you, Adalia. Such a great intro. Super excited that we also got to meet and hang out also at the NFT Miami as well, at the Art Basel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've been, I guess like I'll jump into the intro about me. I've been doing photography, fashion photography for the last like 12 years, and then as well as like modeling and creative direction, a bit of filmmaking, directing, editing and styling, etc. Everything that's like, fashion art related. And during the pandemic, I decided to get into 3D because I always wanted to try, and didn't really have time up until the pandemic. So yeah, I started learning in 2020 how to create my own avatar, and that kind of turned into a business of creating avatars for other people. I think that's like my mission, is to bring in as many people into the metaverse as possible. And I actually was kind of thinking, how can I turn everyone into the avatars even before, like, I heard the word metaverse and before it became super popular in the last couple of years. So yeah, that's kind of how my journey has begun. And since then, I've gotten into NFTs and opened my company that I call Avatar Incubator, because it does feel like giving birth to a digital version of person, of someone. Yeah, since I've created my avatar, I just felt like she's been kind of lonely. And then I was like, well, I need to bring in, my best friend, my boyfriend. So that's how I made Dasha's and Sage's avatars. And fast forward 2 years, I have digitized 10 models for photogenics. That's what you guys see on these screens, like these models. And Sage helped me animate this video. So we kind of, digitized the models, and I told them that they need a male in the roster as well, and male avatar. So they signed our avatars as well to the phase one of the photogenics. And since the NFT journey, I also kind of like reinvested some of those profits into the facial scanning app that I've been working on, and soon going to go into fundraising. Yeah, that's like some of the stuff that I'm working on. Thanks, guys. I'll give the mic to, I guess, Sage or John, whoever wants to join in.
Sure, I can take it from here. Thank you so much for the intro, both of you. I'm super excited to be here. This is actually my first spatial panel discussion, basically. So I'm really, really excited, and you guys did such a great job with the space here. Really appreciate that. My name's Sage, and I started as a musician full-time, and then, as a musician, you always gotta get some music videos. So that's how gradually I got into music video making and film more and more. And people started asking me to direct their music videos. So that was a really organic process. And my kind of origin story is that everything that I do kind of happens in outer space, like in space sojourner, exile kind of person. And so that's really, really hard to bring to life in, real world filmmaking. So obviously when the pandemic started, I got into 3D like very, very intensely again. And yeah, so alongside Nina, who's been getting into the avatar making, I got more into the world building aspect of it. That was, a really, really cool coalition that we managed to build. And so we developed this kind of streamlined workflow between her avatar making and my animation. And this is, for example, how the video on the screens behind you were created, so that Nina, digitized this model division here, send me the models, and then I embedded these into the futuristic environments that we built, animated everything. There's many ways, of course, and we can get into the detail later on how to animate these. It can be motion capture, it can be hand animated, which is what we see here. And so, yeah, I'm just super, super excited about all the amazing possibilities, both in, storytelling, but also in like human interaction, how we're seeing it right now. We're all here as avatars, and kind of living our best selves out here. So yeah, thank you so much for having us, and I would love to pass the mic on to John.
Yeah, when you're talking about the avatars, I see the videos behind. You definitely need to give us like a deeper description or like introduction after this round of introduction. I bet so many people are very curious about how it's been created and what's the journey.
100%. Yeah.
John, do you want to jump into your intro real quick? Is he around?
Yeah.
Is your mic on?
I
Yeah,
think
can
I
you hear me?
saw him.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my name is John, or Veg Surfer. I've been kind of in crypto for a number of years, but then during the pandemic, kind of like Nina, I got more into like exploring how I could have social interactions with people while I'm stuck in my house. And so my default for that is like World of Warcraft. Very familiar feeling right now. I feel like I'm in Stormwind or Ironforge right now. And yeah, so during the pandemic, I started playing Warcraft again, 10 years later. And then I also got into like Clubhouse and talking to people, and long story short, got really deep into NFTs, started buying, investing in NFTs, working on projects. And then I got hired by a company called Wave Financial. We launched sort of the first SEC registered NFT fund that actually goes out and buys NFTs. So I run that fund as well as some other venture funds with Wave. And then a bit further into my journey, I did some stuff with DAOs. I helped on Unicorndao, which raised some money for Ukraine. And then I helped set up Unicorndao, which brings women in the LGBTIQ demographic into Web3. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I think John is very being humble here. Is the Wave Financial the part of the Wave protocol?
No, it's different.
Oh, it's different. And Unicorndao is really very, very big and very interesting. I know like a lot of you guys here I met are all like friends with Nadia, and I really want to know like how do you start with like the Unicorndao, because I know it's been doing amazing things for Ukraine and for the world.
Yeah, it just came from like, I think it was NFT NYC in November of 21. There was like a famous video of like everybody in line for Bored Apes, and it was just all a bunch of bros. And honestly, some of the conversations started then, and we were just like, okay, if this is like an art history movement, it can't just be a bunch of bros. It's got to be more diverse. We have to have multiple perspectives on what it means to be an artist, what it means to be a human, what it means to progress with this technology that we have. So we just started like talking to people and being like, are you down for the cause? Do you want to help? And a lot of like OG kind of people actually were super helpful. So people from like Flamingo DAO or G Money people, all sorts of people. And then eventually like Yuga Labs and a bunch of venture capital companies like all tried to help and were willing to give their network as well as like some funds to go out and buy artwork created by women. And then since then we've done some fundraising stuff as well. It's not the main focus in terms of like what the DAO does, but I do a lot of work with Nadia, who also founded Pussy Riot, and she's an activist for core. So we use our network within Unicorn to make positive change in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I've seen a lot of things that Nadia has done, Unicorndao has done. I know you guys are doing amazing things. And yeah, I'm so happy and honored to have you all here. And then let's dive in. I wanted to know, like, what about this photogenics video, and what is the vision behind it, and how like let's have Nina and Sage and John to talk about your babies, your baby avatars and projects.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe John can start because originally John was the one who connected me with Davis from Photogenics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want to start?
Sure, yeah. I know this guy named Davis Factor. He started Smashbox Cosmetics as well as Photogenics, which is a modeling agency here in LA. I've been really good friends with Davis forever. He's basically like family to me. And he kind of asked me, he was like, hey, our agency wants to get into like Web3 and Metaverse, but they don't really know what to do. Can you help out? So I just said, sure. And they had some ideas for like building some stuff in Decentraland or, like taking part in some existing stuff. And I just immediately said like, it would be a much more interesting play because to me, the metaverse is like everything. Like Twitter is the metaverse, Instagram is the metaverse. The way that you Zoom with somebody else that you've never actually physically met before is metaverse. You can have metaverse relationships. You can have metaverse friendships. Like anything digitally connected like that is metaverse to me. So, my thought was like, there's the ability to disrupt this industry the same way that Zoom meetings did during COVID. Like no big companies have offices anymore. Everybody works remotely. And I do think in the same way, that is the same thing that could happen with like photo shoots. Like I've done like the tiniest bit of modeling, and if I had to pull it up, I would cringe to death. But I've had a lot of friends who are models, and I know that industry sort of, and I've been on lots of shoots. I sort of know how it works, and like a huge part of it is just bringing all the physical humans together in the same location. So driving from point A to B, flying places, makeup, hair, wardrobe, lighting, whatever. And if you could disrupt that and just have people meet in a digital space, whether that space was live or sort of created more in depth in post-production, it doesn't really matter. And the case study for me was the stuff I saw NINOCENCE doing, or Nina doing with her avatar NINOCENCE. This stuff that's like really otherworldly, kind of can't even tell if it's like photo or digital, and just makes these really amazing like photo campaigns. And so I showed those photo campaigns to Davis and Cole at Photogenics. And yeah, they loved it, and they trusted her from the beginning and was like, okay, where the intersection of like fashion and avatars meet, that is Nina and Sage. And so they worked with them, and here we are.
Wow, that's really indeed amazing story. I'm sure Nina is one of the best avatar artists that I've ever met in the space, and I'm so obsessed with some of your art, like especially the female avatars that you created that has the interactions. That's like the ideal metaverse interactions that I would envision people have in the future, and especially like in this type of environment that
Hello?
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 Hi, can you guys hear me?
I can hear
We
you
can hear
now. I couldn't hear you like a minute ago.
Oh, I think I was muted somehow. Yeah, I was saying that it was an amazing time that we all like gathered together in this virtual space with all of our avatars. I think in the future, we're able to import your own avatars that I will see Nina in NINOCENCE entirely and walking with that amazing fashions that you created yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, that's definitely a goal. And I know that, for example, like some platforms like Sansar allow you to upload your own FBX into that metaverse, but it's still kind of like, um, there's still a lot of bottlenecks that you need to work out. So, I'm pretty sure within the next couple years, it's going to be figured out, and there's going to be like a system, hopefully, where people can just join in, with a custom-made avatar. And on that sense, I definitely want to be able to scale making avatars, and that's why I start working on the app, because I'm hoping that like once I put it out publicly, everyone can make their own avatar and just utilize it for for different purposes, different metaverses, and get together, because that was my original vision. And I guess part of the reason I really like the kind of like, when I think about it, I guess like Ready Player One has like a similar, also vision in terms of like people turning into their avatars, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your own face. Could be any creature, could be a modified version of yourself, whatever you want. And that's the beauty of 3D, that there is no limit to the possibilities. But personally, from my photography background and portraiture, years of portraiture, I definitely enjoy recreating human faces and looking at all these um, little parts of the face that others might not recognize. And yeah, it was very interesting project, recreating 10 people at the same time. Uh, and also making sure that they like it, making sure that the style is cool and cohesive, and putting it all together and making it look not only like a typical modeling agency what would do, but also futuristic and different. And um yeah
Yeah,
Sage, you want to add?
that's really nice. I actually have a question for you. Like, I know
Mhm.
that your lab is doing the avatar creation. But I wonder, like, what will be the difference? You know, like right now we have Ready Player Me, we have Meta Human that you kind of like design your own face by
Yeah.
yourself. And what will be like the feature or the difference or something that's very flavorful for you for your Billion Lab?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I do believe MetaHuman is a great system, and actually my app is kind of like a complementary to MetaHuman in a way that, for example, if you take a face scan with my face, you can log it into a MetaHuman mesh and, apply that face scan onto a MetaHuman and use that. Sage already did that. And then with the Ready Player Me, I mean, you guys see the quality, right? It's still a little bit cartoon-like. I'm just like in a different, I guess, zone. I'm focusing on more of the artistic vision, where they are focusing more on utility and metaverse. There's some sounds from hell. The digital demons are waking up. Um,
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure.
for those of you who just got in, maybe like can you all mute yourself so we can make sure we can hear from the speakers. Thank you so much. Sorry for
Digital.
interrupting.
I have frozen. Anyway, yeah, definitely. I think Ready Player Me is really cool in terms of utility and how they're building partnerships with different metaverses to plug in their avatars into different spaces. I think that's cool. I'm currently focusing more on artistic side of it, and it's still more like a media agency in that sense, and then also a technology company with a scanning app. So the technology is something that I can later partner up with, like a game. I don't know, like EA games or League of Legends or something like that, and they directly can build up a workflow where a user can just take a scan with our technology and right away go and play with that with their scan avatar, because the avatar is the scan that is being taken from just like a few selfies on your phone could be straightly plugged in into some avatar system. So right now I'm plugging in into like a Genesis system. Yeah, but there's so many different avatar systems out there. So in each one has its own little workflow. I know Jason knows it because we were working on he took a little peek into like how you need to rechange the eyes for this avatar, and each avatar system has different rigging, and there's just like a whole process between all of them. Um,
Oh yeah, totally. Jason, there's gonna be a lot of things because when we first trying to put your avatars in a space, because it's a very different space. It's not like when you're creating the avatars in C4D in all those like 3D rendering software.
Yeah, yeah, the technology is still not there for the metaverse avatars to be that high fidelity and, be fully rigged and moving, perfectly yet. But I do believe in a couple years, it would be, it would be the case. And I do believe that in a couple years, that's how, the social media probably will look like too.
Yeah,
Once
I
we all,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny that at the beginning, all the avatars have no eyeballs, just like pure white eyes around.
Mhm.
But yeah, Saj, I would like to hear some of your ideas, your visions. I know that you're working on Horizon Lives. Why don't you give us an introduction?
Absolutely, yeah. So just to connect to what Nina said, I also super excited for what the future holds. I think what we're running into right now as, a metaverse society is definitely like bandwidth limits and like processing limits. Um, but I also think that we're moving, forward very quickly. I mean, we just saw a huge jump in just internet speeds on mobile as well with 5G, that definitely changed a lot already for a lot of people. Even some societies went from like 2G to 5G directly. So I think this acceleration will only continue to speed up. And I saw yesterday, I didn't go into the article, but I saw a news headline saying that the US actually started building out a new kind of like fiber internet in some select states, which is again like up to 12 times faster, which are ridiculous numbers at this point. Um, so I think, the next years, they're really going to hold a lot of possibility when it comes to bandwidth and, just transferring all this amazing amount of information because we're dealing with super high fidelity avatars that Nina made here. Each of these are millions of polygons. And, the face scans with her app Embryo that actually, one of my best friends helped to code. He's like a machine learning mastermind in my eyes. And the discrepancy, I believe, of the real person and the resulting scan of the face is like below 1 millimeter. So it's like highly accurate. It's highly detailed, but it's also like a high fidelity file. So that's that's something that I think very few applications are capable of handling right now, but I think that the future is going to allow that and it's going to have full flexibility. For now, what I think the main use case is, at least for me as an artist, is using these avatars in 3D applications. So the videos that we're gonna talk about the project in a sec, that we see behind you, that was all created in like 3D software that's optimized, to handle these assets. But like, when we send these out, oh, what happened? What happened there? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Probably someone.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, so these softwares that we used here, so I rendered all the videos in Cinema 4D, and then of course when you render it out with like nice camera effects and so on, like every frame might take a few minutes, and that's just like not usable for the metaverse as of yet. But as we can see, with like slightly polygon reduced size, we can already use the model to some extent. Because if you go to the second floor of the beautiful mansion that you created here, you can see the models there. So they're already usable to some extent, just not in motion and animated yet. But I think that's a thing to come. Also, when you think about the different, types of models that are out there, you just touched up on MetaHuman. So
Yeah.
MetaHuman, I think, has amazing promise for the future because it's again like super high fidelity, right? And we're working right now with Genesis avatars, which are also amazing. And all these have their own kind of skeleton inside. And there's also like Mixamo characters, for example. So that's like three systems. There's also a character creator. They have their own skeleton again. And so there's a lot of systems here, and each of them is, of course, trying to be, the ultimate system. In the end, I think, especially with AI and machine learning, there's already like auto rigging softwares. I think we're gonna see a unification of these systems that any application can hopefully take any type of avatar, so that any of these systems are equally viable, and it's going to be a truly accessible and open metaverse in the future.
Yeah, I totally
that's
agree.
some thoughts about that.
Yeah, I'm looking for that future, to be honest, but looks like we have a long way to go. But, like we have to always get in early and then work together so we can all elevate and thrive together. It's really amazing. And I know that you guys got featured on Vogue and Forbes, so big congratulations for that. And I want to know, like, what is the future? Like, let's say we already uh, have like 10 models in the avatar form. So what's the next step? What will be the future for you?
Yeah, so in terms of the photogenics, I think she said they wanted to do up to like at least 50 or something like that. So we're currently already starting to work on phase 2, doing the next batch of the models. So currently they're all at the Paris Fashion Week, but once they're back, we're gonna properly, dive into the scanning process again and get more, digital get my digital avatars, and probably gonna release do like another release party maybe at Super Chief. We're thinking to kind of line it up together with NFT LA in March. So that's kind of something that's in the works as well. And yeah, I mean, honestly, been doing a lot of documentaries about avatars and 3D art recently. So we've done like a little one for Disney Plus actually, but can't share too many details. But it's gonna come out in December on Disney Plus, Nat Geo, and then another one for Japanese TV, Wow 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 TV, and then I just had a meeting also with these Ukrainian guys that are doing a pilot for Hulu and Amazon. So it sounds like everyone wants to jump in onto the Web3 avatar, train right now. So yeah, a lot of things are happening in the space.
Yeah, totally. When you're saying that every company is trying to jump on the metaverse train, because I really do think first it's a great upgrade for all those individuals or company. For example, like all the parties or the events, you have to happen in real life, sure, but when you want to happen, virtually online, Zoom meeting doesn't represent enough as such that we can sit beside each other and see each other's avatar and have a conversation. It does feel very different than just having a Zoom call. And also, like for a lot of companies in Web 2, when they want to get into Web 3, I think there's a lot of misconnect, or we need to build a bridge here for them to be able to understand what is possible for now, what is a concept, what is their expectation should be in the future. And for that, I want to ask John, do you have any thoughts or visions on how the company should get into Web3 and Metaverse smoothly in that sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think that they should just hire, advisors or consultants, or hire people who are experts in this space. Can't really fake it,
Yeah, just hire all of you guys and us.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, or like just get advisory boards or consultants. And that's why I think it's an exciting like place to be in, growth sector, because the more you learn, the more like separate yourself from everybody else in the world. But I still think we're super, super early. I think, people who are involved with NFTs or metaverse are like definitely in the less than 1%. But I do think, at least from what I've seen, there's like so much money and investment coming into this space. I really don't think it's possible that we sort of like reverse technological progress and go back in time at this point. Like, it's somewhat inevitable that we will be spending more and more time in these digital relationships and digital worlds. So yeah, I feel like I'm, learning a new skill, and that's always been my mentality with life and work and stuff like that, is I want skills and knowledge I can bring to the table that other people don't have. So yeah, it's fun. You get to learn and have fun, and then hopefully advise bigger companies as they come in.
Yeah, totally. I agree that I have been help hosting a lot of events for females, girls in Web3 and fashion, digital fashions and events like this. I think for now the biggest trend is to hosting some events and having some like educational panels, classes in the metaverse, especially in places like spatial. It's perfect for having this panel talk or even giving a educational talk, because we have tried to give a couple educational courses to our DAO community, and it's very easy because all you need to do is to create a whiteboard in front of everyone, and you can write down stuff and you can screen share what's happening in your screen. People can learn very clearly. So that's a good way. But in the future, I do believe that if there's no events, then there has to be some like gaming or activity, even though for like scavenger hunt that people can get in and somehow have fun or have networking opportunities with other people, then that is the way to bring everybody together in a metaverse. Not just, it's going to be more and more, including, the retails, shopping, including like fun gaming, including like even meetings, and right now all the spaces here, you can also do token gated. For example, if just a very recent example, we launched our NFT, right? So we can basically say, hey, for the future events, all the events, all the spaces are token gated. You need to have like an NFT to be able to get in. We're not doing it right now because we want just a lot of people to hear the voice of, influential people, hear the voice of the cutting edge technology and what people are doing. So I totally agree on this idea that people need to ask of what those people, the pioneers, are thinking and what are their experiences in the metaverse, so that they can integrate with their own business and create a more important or like interesting things and offer value to the community here. Yeah. So I wanted to ask, because there are so many people here and I'm so happy that you guys are coming and listening. So if you have any questions for our speakers, for Nina, for me, or anything that you want to talk regarding to, avatars, future of modeling agency, or how companies can get into Web3, feel free to hands up and just, unmute yourself and ask questions. We're here. Anyone has any questions?
Maybe people don't know how to unmute.
The unmute button is on the left bottom of your Chrome, and then you can click on it, and then you can unmute. I see a lot of people that's already in the community, so if you have any questions, make sure to talk to the speaker here. If not, then let's give a big congratulations, big claps for all the speakers here. And then I wanted to lead you guys around and to show the models of NINOCENCE and such. We have to go to the second floor, so just follow me, or you can just like jump, bungee jump. There you go. Okay, here's one model, and Nina, maybe you can give like a brief introduction, showcase.
Oh yeah, here we having like a raw model of Minji, and then you guys can see some of her renders on one side. That's one of the models that were with photogenic. So if you find her on Instagram, Minji is like a really popular like sports beauty model. She models for things like Nike and etc. And then on the other side, it's Carmen. She's also a popular model. She's been in various music videos like J-Lo and Victoria Modesta and etc. And also, does a lot of beauty. And actually Sage did these like beautiful composites of the renders. So I've done the stills and like the models. The moving models that you see, it's just like a raw version of the actual 3D model that's on the website. So when you go on the Photogenics website, I think it's photogenicsmedia.com or something, and then slash Metaverse or Metaverse dash division. It's when you directly see all the girls in there that are available for booking as avatars. Well, all the girls in Sage. And then, I've utilized the app that we're creating for scanning, as well as a couple other algorithms to, fetch the skin textures for that. I just had the girls come in my studio and take portrait shots of them with just like a professional camera and lighting, even though you can do that for the app, but it's just still better because it's the prototype of the app. It's still better to get professional images to take as much of like skin texture as possible. And I think my stronger side after the renders are done is also on the um, retouching part of it, because I'm just utilizing my skills from the photography. So what I do is just Photoshop the renders the same way I would Photoshop the images. And by doing that, I just bring out a lot of textures and colors to make them look more real. That's part of the process.
Wow, that sounds very professional. I think I get probably 70% of it. But that was so professional. Now you guys know if you want like a customized professional model, who you should go to. And I wanted to lead you guys to see NINOCENCE here. Let me bring everybody here.
So guys, I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So since you have these 3D models here, those are probably the GLB files. How do you secure those files? Because this is the identity of someone, and it can be easily stole. How do you secure that, and how do you make sure that it's not downloadable by mistake?
Downloadable from like where?
Well, if this place gets unlocked, then someone can download it.
Got it. Well, yeah, I thought at first maybe you meant like a intellectual property wise and all of that. But in terms of like, yeah, utilizing the models, well, first of all, the models that we have here on file, like let's say, they're still like, they already posed, they already have like outfits on, and it will be hard to customize them from the way they are right now. So I really doubt that someone will be able to, steal these models. But even if they do, I mean, the technology is still in a space where you still need to put a lot of work, and I still need to be involved a lot in these models in order to customize them and help animate them. So yeah, in that sense, I guess the process is not as straightforward as it seems like.
Well,
Yeah, and in mhm.
what I've seen here in this space that someone would take the avatar itself, avatar like Ready Player Me avatar, would put that in a space, and it happens, you do parties and unlock the spaces, and so someone downloads it and puts it somewhere in a cage in their house. So I've seen this with my personal eyes, and they would take the avatar and do the animation with Mixamo and put it in their own house. So, and just like for entertainment, I've seen that. So I'm just saying that those are so beautiful. If they get animated in Mixamo, it would be just an awful experience, probably.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean, right now there's like a few ways to future-proof this, right? So, I think the best technology that we have right now is NFTs. So for example, if you license the avatar on, the Photogenics website, and you want to license it for 3 months, for example, what you receive from them is a licensing NFT with a built-in, time period duration, like a lifetime. And I think that it will be the authenticator for its authenticity. So I think this will be the technology of the spaces going forward to actually address this problem that you're bringing up, because it is a valid problem. Identity theft, like, the whole deep fake technology, already we're seeing it with real people, and people being impersonated like that. So I think that's definitely a super valid concern.
So
And I
I
think
have
that,
to Yes. So I have to say to you that on OpenSea, if you have a before it was a problem. If you do it on OpenSea and you put your GLB file there, you still can download it from the source file. So you open the source page and you just download. So that's how all of these GLB files were stolen, like thousands of dollars, even as an NFT. So I'm just saying. Be
Yeah,
careful
I think
about that.
Ira, you really mentioned a great point. Like I have been personally thinking about this point of view for a long time because I was talking to a lot of investors and I was the person bringing this up, because we're doing like the house NFTs. It's kind of like similar, right? You're all like the valuable assets are the 3D assets. And if someone just stole your JLB file, then like they can basically use it however. And I got a reply from someone I think is very interesting. He said that, well, it's just like um, the bags, right? The Chanel bags or the Hermes bags. A lot of people trying to do like the fake one. You can still have the fake one. You can use it. You have the utility of it, but you actually don't have that like the real like the NFT, the proof that you own it. You own an authentic NFT. So I do agree on Saj that NFT is a technology that can help solve this identical problem that once you own something, it's not only just this asset or just this utility, or there's going to be no difference between Web 2 and Web 3, right? So Web 3 is that with the NFT or with some type of like blockchain technology, you can prove that you own this 3D asset, even though other people are using it. It's basically free promotion for you, free marketing for you, and they cannot prove that you're there in the community. They're holding an NFT of Dolphin, they're holding an NFT of NINOCENCE. They don't actually have the rights to, if you're in a DAO, the rights to vote or the rights to market it, to commercialize it. So I think that could really help in the identity theft or like just stealing the GLB file and use it however you want. I guess that's what I think. That's what I got from the other people. Hopefully that can help.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean it's
thank you
like
so much. Yeah, you go ahead.
very old kind of like a fight that we all have to, that we all have to fight against, right? Like a very old topic in terms of like um unsolicited usage of, of our identity, even as like, just in real life modeling and photography. That's quite often of like how many photographers have released like NFTs with someone's faces and not paying them. I mean, that's something that we will have to fight with every day. And in terms of commercial use, maybe some people are able to, take some legal action and cease and desist if they're able to, prove ownership and all of that. But then if it's something malicious, like putting someone in a cage or doing some, funny animations and videos with that, or even porn, like I know people do that actually. One of the apps I'm using is actually made for VR porn, and we make like artistic videos with that. But some of the community, what they do is they would put up models of their, ex-girlfriends or something and just put them up for sale and have other people, it's kind of like a revenge for them. So I guess like, if someone has a malicious intent against you specifically, it's like going to be really hard to avoid, I think, in general, regardless of what industry we're in.
Well, GLB file is super easy to adjust. You can just change the face a little bit and not yours anymore. That's it.
Well, these are not GLBs actually. Yeah, but I get your point. But then I think in order
Yeah.
to like run it through Mixamo, you need to have them in an A or T pose, and they're not in that pose, so they really need to like move them around. But I mean, good point. Then we'll just be posting OBJs then. That
Well,
won't have
just
the space.
as a good practice, it's always good to lock the spaces here, so nobody can just download it.
Well, I don't think you can just
Okay.
download from this virtual space though. Um, only if you're the host could probably, but I don't think any host would try to do that. I mean, like for hosting events, we want to be respectful for all of our participants and collaborators. And same for like all the NFT holders. I think when they bought something, they want to keep it, right? They want to keep the value goes up. They don't want to do any like malicious things that actually, destroy the reputation of the artist that they're supporting or like harm any people in the same community. So I think that would be safe for like the NFT holders, for the people who are doing business together. But like you can't really stop anyone from doing anything bad, to be honest, in this world. No matter it's web 1, web 2, web 3, people still doing like good things and bad things. All we can do is to try our best to protect the asset and then help each other, so we're on the right way. That's the only way.
Yeah, I'm personally definitely also just counting on, the ecosystem of both the avatar user and the platforms building out. I think, when we look at Twitter, that's the most basic way of that. Like everybody can have the picture of an ape as an avatar on there, but only one person will have the hexagonal shape around it. So that's the authenticator for everybody else to know that this is the actual person, this is the actual holder. So I think it's simple things like that. There's always going to be fan art, let's call it that, people appropriating the asset. But yeah, I personally count on platforms to incentivize that, the authenticity.
Yeah, and I
Okay,
just bring everybody here to see Sage. This is what he looks like, and this is his avatar.
Yeah, thank you so much. And this avatar too, it's been created by Nina, and again, she scanned my face from a series of photos, and also scanned my upper body. So the tattoos you see here are actually on my body. So this is really exciting that it's not only the face, but it's the entire thing. And I'm happy to announce, as you see on the little video here, that as to our research, I'm actually the first Metaverse signed male avatar model. And that's super, super
Whoa.
exciting. Yeah, and this is actually bringing me to something that I think is super inspiring. It's what I call like cross-pollination. I think what's super exciting is that, now that I have an avatar, I can try out certain things on the avatar, try out certain hairstyles and clothing choices that I don't have maybe have the time or budget in the real world. And then, once I like something, that can transfer into my real world self. So I think it's like this cool like cross inspiration. And that also applies to the modeling agency. So they signed the avatar here. And after they signed the avatar, so the digital self, now we're in talks of signing my physical self as well. So that's also a
Oh,
first, I think.
wow.
The avatar being signed first and then
Congratulations.
the real person second. Um, yeah, so that's the model. So thank you so much for viewing this.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
thank you
so
so much for showing this. Sorry, Nina, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, like, so interesting how, having an avatar, it's not necessarily, how when we released it with Forbes and Vogue Business, like, it's so interesting how Vogue Business crowd was so, pro-progress and understanding and very supportive of the project, and they were all really excited. But then Forbes crowd was just like, very skeptical, and everyone's just like, oh my God, what's going to happen to real people? Are you going to take the jobs? Are you going to give all the jobs to robots? And we're like, just read the article. These are actual real people, and we just scan them. But the point is that, they're not going to take our jobs away. They're actually, extensions of ourselves, and they're actually expanding us and helping us. Like, the main idea is the immortalization of the person. So, for example, for Sage's dad's birthday, for his 70th birthday, I created like his avatar that looked a little bit younger, and we also minted it on his birthday. So he got like, birthed on a blockchain on his birthday, but then
Wow.
while looking at his, for like, I don't know, 45 or something like that. And then another thing, like, like Sage has mentioned that his avatar got an opportunity for him for real life before the IRL version. And same happened with my avatar. Like, my avatar did a few magazine covers. Like, I did the NINOCENCE, she did a Dior collaboration L'Officiel cover that was on a print magazine. And, recently we also did like Work Taiwan, and we just released WWD. But it's so interesting that like NINOCENCE was on the cover of L'Officiel before the real me. And
Wow.
so like it's really, helping me expand, and as well as like helping all these models that, let's say, how it's always an issue that models have a span of very short career span, and they only can work up until like they're 30, 35, not much after that, unless they like may mask or something. But and it seems like the fashion industry is working on those stereotypes as well. But still, even if the model, for example, gets pregnant and doesn't want to continue modeling anymore, wants to live on an island, their avatar can still be utilized to continue their career without them having to be there physically.
Yeah, I agree. This is like really an innovation that can change a lot in a society. And I'm so looking forward to the future of, like a lot of avatars doing commercials, even like movies. And I'm excited because, we have so many like environment designers. We wanted to see like what we can do, what we can contribute. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people here are trying to see what they can do, like everybody can be like a potential actor or actress, in the metaverse, because we don't have to be physically present, so that's like I do see it as a great opportunities. So yeah, I think we had like such a great discussion, such a great panel talk today. And again, congratulations for the team to get on Vogue and Forbes. And I can't wait to see what's yet to come. in the future. And I have the biggest belief in all of you. And thank you everyone for joining our panel talk, and give the biggest applause to our speakers again. And yeah, congratulations to them, and we really love their wife here. And then we have a surprise. We're going to have our DJ Right Wolf have his first Metaverse avatar performance in our space. And everyone just need to wait for a little bit